Hi everyone, this video is about Sea Cannon, a game which I made in 3 hours for the Friday night game jam. The theme for this specific Friday night game jam was sailing. Coming up with an idea for this specific jam was easy, but sadly I had to narrow down the scope by a lot. Originally the game had a lot more enemy variety, and the end objective was a bit different. The idea I ended up with was pretty simple when compared to the original one. You as the player are on a boat with a cannon. Your mission is to destroy 4 specific towers spread around the map. The game has 4 different enemies, 2 boat enemy types, one uses a cannon and the other uses a spear. There are also 2 tower types, one is a small tower and the other one is a big tower. To complete the game you have to destroy all of the big towers. With the game's premise planned out, I started by creating the basic movement and shooting for the different boats. The game overall doesn't have that much to implement, and since I could just recycle most of the code from one enemy type to another, the programming didn't take that long. Overall, the time I spent on programming the mechanics was around an hour. Looking back at it now, I probably could have made the code more optimized, since on some devices the web-built physics are slowed down. When starting to make the art, I didn't have any specific art direction in mind. For the sake of time, I decided to go with the easiest option, anime-inspired art. Making the art took about 30 minutes, there was really not that much to make art of, and looking back at it, I think it was a good decision that I only spent 30 minutes on the art, because the level design took a lot of time. Now, looking back at the level design, I must say that I used too much time on it. The map overall is too big, and I've seen some players get lost in it because the mazy nature of the map. If I were to remake the game, I would reduce the map size to at least half of what it currently is. The level design took about an hour to make. Some of this time was actually used for making the level, and some was used for arranging the enemies. The rest of the 3 hours I had remaining, I used for polishing some small things like changing the level design a bit and fixing some small bugs and adding a menu. The game overall is quite simple and short. The game gets a bit boring after the first about 2 minutes, which I think is the result of making the map too big. Overall, for 3 hours I think the game is pretty decent. Thanks for watching. I will put a link to the game in the description if you want to check it out. In the future I'm going to release some new devlogs of other small jam games I've made.